Today on ATV 360, the music industry. Is the music industry allowing just anybody to be a music star? Student loans. Should students have to pay back their loans within 6 months after they graduate? Competition in sports. Is competition between sports teams healthy or harmful to their performance? Our debate of the day, Fountain Day. Is it fair to the entire student body for Fountain Day to be canceled? Plus, we will discuss Chris Brown and his recent publicity. Welcome to ATV 360.
Good evening, and welcome to ATV 360. I'm Scott Hosey.
I'm Kristina Hall.
And I'm Elyssa Aquino.
We're going to start today's show by talking about the music industry. Kristina, do you think that the music industry is allowing just anyone to become a superstar these days?
Absolutely. The music industry is absolutely ridiculous right now. Don't get me wrong, I love all the crappy music out there myself. Teach Me How to Dougie, my favorite song ever. But, like, it's ridiculous. For instance, Rebecca Black. Okay, her song is by far the worst song that I have ever heard, including the video. And the only reason she's getting media attention is because of how bad her song is and how much we're listening to it. Auto-tune has completely ruined her, as well as her management. I watched an ABC News special, and they had Rebecca sing the national anthem. She's really not that bad. She wasn't great. I wouldn't say she should be a superstar, but she wasn't that bad. Auto-tune ruined her voice as well as management. So yeah, I think with a little bit of help, they're allowing anyone to be superstars.
You know what, Kristina? I'm sick and tired of people complaining about the music industry. It's supply and demand. We are buying all these albums, all these magazines, encouraging these superstars to get to the top. And I mean, just Rebecca Black, I actually love that song. And it has 40 million views as of 2 days ago. So obviously she's doing something right. Obviously we want to listen to her music.
Well, I mean, you make a good point. It's supply and demand. Well, that's the problem with the music industry. It's all about marketability. For instance, Justin Bieber. I think he's so cute, but that's beside the point. But he's marketable only for the reason that he's aiming towards 10 to 15-year-old girls. His music, let's be serious, there's really no substance to his lyrics. He does have talent. I think the boy can sing, he can dance, and maybe when he gets older, he will be better. But when it boils down to it, it's his marketability. He's marketable to teens.
But there's nothing wrong with Justin Bieber. Just because he's marketable to teens, that's what we want to listen to.
But that does not mean that it's good music. That does not mean he should be a superstar.
But for someone to be a superstar, this means that they have to appeal to millions of people.
Right, and I agree with you, but it also matters about their lyrics. And their lyrics is a major thing. Mm-hmm. Baby, 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 what is that crap? Are you kidding me? Like,
so are you insinuating that the music industry should be less worried about money and more worried about good music?
Well, obviously we want to be concerned with money. Like, come on, that's why they're in the music biz to begin with. But yeah, we should focus on good music. You know, you always hear our parents say, oh, you know, music in our time was good, like your music's crap. But let's be serious. Like, marketability is the #1 thing.
I just think these artists really need to be encouraged, and we love the music, regardless of, you know, the popularity. We love it.
Do you truly love the lyrics, though?
I love the lyrics.
All right, well, do you have any final points, guys?
My final point is definitely that these artists need to be respected, and that we can't keep putting the blame on the music industry, when in fact we are the ones who are giving them money.
My final point is, yes, the music industry is in fact letting anyone be a superstar, and if they're marketable and make catchy music, then forget it. They're going to be there regardless of how bad they really sound.
All right, good debate. Now we're going to tune into our special report brought to you by James Gandia.
UA Overtime is the premier sports talk show on Albany Student Television. Overtime is hosted by junior Jermaine Dennis and airs every day at 10:30, 5:30, 8:30, and 11:30. Anyone who's ever watched Around the Horn knows who Tony Reale, Woody Page, and Kevin Blackistone are. What you probably don't know about are all the people who do the very important work that goes on behind the scenes. From the camera work to sound control and editing, it takes a full team to bring all the pieces of the puzzle together. It takes countless hours to bring you this quality of programming. It also takes a little bit of style. ATV has a total of 14 shows, over 200 members, and a 32-person executive board. But that doesn't mean we can't use a little bit of extra help. If you'd like to get involved, please contact us at atvalbany@gmail.com. From the Albany Student Television Studio for ATV 360, this is James Gandia with your special report.
Thank you, James. Now we have a very interesting debate topic that I know affects most students here. Student loans. Do you think that students should have to pay back their loans within 6 months, even if they don't have a job? What do you think, Elyssa?
Scott, let's be serious. These people really need to pay back their student loans. They're given 6 months. And unfortunately, in our country, education is not free. If that's unfair, is a completely different subject. But I'm saying these people need to be encouraged to have responsibility and get a job. Whether it's 6 months or not, you need to get a job. They're lazy. If they don't get a job within 6 months, they're really lazy.
Well, about that, personally, I'm graduating in May, and student loans are freaking me out. Not only that, finding a job right now is absolutely ridiculous. As if it's not hard enough to find a job with being straight out of college, a graduate. It's not just that. It's also the economy right now. The economy is horrible, so there's lack of jobs out there regardless, and let's be serious, I'm a journalism major, so I don't really know how that's going to go down. So personally, if I can't find a job within 6 months, which I am worried about, and I have to start paying back on my student loans, that's going to be a problem. I don't think it's long enough.
Okay, but realistically, you don't have to pay $40,000 1 month. You can set up a payment plan. So if you want, you can even put $100 every month. I mean, you can do that in one shift working at McDonald's.
It also depends on where you went to school, though, because you can defer your loans. I kind of plan on doing that myself. You can defer them for a while, but from past experiences, like seeing my friends go through it, you go to a private school, for instance, that costs you 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to start paying student loans after that. Those payments can be, $400, $500 a month. When you have other things to pay for and you're only in an entry-level job, that's tough. So yeah, 6 months, that's not a very long time, and you're not going to be making the money that you want to in order to pay those loans.
I mean, this is a privilege for people to be receiving loans, and I feel like if you're not going to go to graduate school, if you're not going to hire your education, then you have 6 months to do what you have to do. You have responsibility to pay the government back.
Well, it's obvious that we have a very low employment rate now, so you think that there's, anything we do? I mean, it's hard to get jobs. Is there any,
Yeah, but within 6 months, I feel like people would be able to get jobs.
Do you think you're going to be able to get a job after 6 months?
Of course I'll be able to get a job.
All right,
what
guys.
year are you?
Final points. Years irrelevant.
My final point is that I just, from my perspective, and I'm going to be graduating, I think 6 months isn't long enough for me to be able to pay my loans back.
I think college students they tend to be lazy, and I feel like 6 months is a long time. Get a job, pay your loans, be responsible.
All right, good debate, guys. Now we're going to go down to a quick commercial break.
I like when a man has a little scruff on him and you just kind of rub your hands through it and it's like, oh boy, come over here.
Welcome back. Now we're going to go to a field report brought to you by Jake Silver.
One of UAlbany's most successful programs, the Great Danes men's lacrosse team took to the field on Saturday, March 5th for their first home game against rival Delaware's Fighting Blue Hens. After starting the season with a disappointing 14-7 loss at Drexel, the Great Danes took to John Fallon Field on Saturday with a renewed determination ready to start their 3-game home stretch. That determination showed early in the game as the Danes took a commanding lead, one which they never relinquished. No matter what Delaware tried on either side of the ball, they just couldn't seem to put the Great Danes off balance, and that ultimately resulted in their downfall. Attacker Joe Reserteris attributes the victory to the intense practices that followed last week's loss. It wasn't all fun and games. At times, the game got a little bit chippy, which is understandable given the history between these two squads. Despite the harsh conditions, John Fallon Field had an unusual capacity crowd on Saturday, adding to the energy that helped the team get their first home win. Fan Brendan Ketchum believes that the crowd's energy helped the Danes increase their level of play throughout the game, and head coach Scott Marr agrees. And getting that first win was definitely important, because with top programs like UMass coming down the stretch, the Danes are going to need all their momentum to keep going. Well, as you can see,
Thanks, Jake. Now we're going to talk a little sports. Competition, do you think it's healthy or do you think it's harmful to sports? What do you think, Kristina?
I think competition is healthy. Competition gives us more drive to win. When you're playing a rival, for instance, you want to win regardless of your season, regardless of how many games you won. When you play that team, you want to win. It definitely gives you more drive. I think competition is very healthy.
Competition is not healthy. I mean, people tend to bring competition into the real world, not the sports world. And competition encourages individualism. Now, in the real world, we have to, participate together. We have to work together to make society better. Now, if you're thinking about only yourself and I have to beat this player, it's wrong.
Well, what about like team rivalries? Do you think that maybe Yankees come together as a team knowing they want to defeat another team like the Red Sox? Do you think that helps bring team chemistry, or?
It's segregation. I mean, you connect with a team. The Yankees connect with each other, and then they hate the Mets. So it's competition. You have to win.
Well, my question for you is, did you play sports when you were younger?
Yes, I played volleyball.
You played volleyball?
Yes.
Well, I played soccer, basketball, and softball.
Okay.
So,
So it's biased.
What? No, I'm not saying volleyball's not. You can be competitive in volleyball.
Okay.
Well, okay, I'm a big football fan. So Cowboys versus Giants. Yes, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. To all you Giants people. But regardless of how either of our teams are doing during the season, when we play each other, our real competition comes out. I know the Cowboys, they're going to join together, and I know the Giants are going to join together as a team to beat one another because they're a rival. That's what they do. And like I said, regardless of their season and their wins, they're still going to have more drive because that's the rival. They want to beat them.
Well, witnessing all these sports events, I don't partake in a lot of sports. However, I do witness it. And what I see are a whole bunch of kids crying, saying, oh my God, Mom, I should have beat that kid. It's wrong. You're encouraging a whole bunch of children to think about themselves. And competition is good, don't get me wrong, to a certain extent.
Okay.
You shouldn't, it's not the world isn't a competition.
Well, you say like out in the real world. When you take professional sports, now that's the real world. That's a business.
Yeah.
If you think that a lack of competition, you don't think that would hurt those businesses at all, or?
But the sports isn't in the real world. I feel like sports is just a hobby.
But it's a real career. You get paid for it.
It's a real career, but there are so many other issues going on, and you don't need to compete with people. Karl Marx, for example, the father of communism. There are many things wrong with individualism. The tendency for a person to act without reference to others. That's wrong.
I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but when it boils down to it, you have to have competition in life. When you're having a job, you're going to compete with someone to get it. Yes, you're thinking about yourself, but you know that's a career.
So maybe there's a problem in society.
Maybe that could be a good point. Well, even with Jake's field report, for instance, for UAlbany against Delaware, the one kid in the video was saying straight up, I want to beat this team. They killed us.
We're gonna have to go to final points. We're running out of time. I know you guys are heated about this. I see a little competition going on right now. To be honest with you,
this is healthy competition.
A little healthy competition. That's
this is healthy.
All right, final points.
My final point is just I do think competition is very healthy. I was an athlete, and without my drive to compete, man, I would have been a failure.
Competition is not healthy. Individualism is a very scary thing, and I'm terrified when I see two countries fighting for victory. It's horrifying, and it's all based on sports.
All right, guys, that was a very good debate. Now we're going to bring you to our special report by Alex Petitfrere.
Just one day after President Phillips' announcement, students began to take action. On Monday, March 21st, a table was set up right in front of the small fountain where students came and signed their name in the form of a petition. Brian Johnson and our very own ATV 360 anchor, James Gandia, were hosting this. In one day, they had already received approximately 2,000 names. Besides the petition, students have already organized protests to be held in the upcoming days.
Thanks, Alex. What's going on with Chris Brown right now, actually? Like, I've honestly never been a fan of his music, but I think his career is shot. I think he's got a 1 or 2 year gap right now.
I mean, you know, I love female empowerment. I don't encourage him beating up his girlfriend, but I think he's coming back.
I do. I think he's done a pretty good job since his incident with Rihanna in the first place. Coming back, he definitely faced a lot of bad publicity. But I mean, Deuces, amazing song. It was like my memory anthem.
Yeah,
like
well,
guys all around the world.
He's a young guy. I feel like he was so stupid.
Well, how much did he really do on that song Deuces? He said he only said Deuces. I mean, you had like 4 or 5 good artists on it.
The remix had Kanye West, Fabulous.
Exactly, the remix. Well, I think he's gonna have to collab a lot, but I mean. He's probably his career went like a different way since, you know, he was kind of like the R&B Justin Bieber for a while, but, you know, I guess, you know, the heartthrob thing doesn't work once you start beating girls, I guess.
No,
definitely
not.
So what about that recent publicity stunt he pulled?
Oh, yeah, what was it, Good Morning America? Or?
Yeah, throwing chairs and stuff, like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Like,
I mean, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, and that's the only kind he has, so maybe that's the reason his career's afloat right now.
Bad publicity.
I don't know, but, hey, look at Rihanna right now, right? Did that help her career, maybe?
It definitely helped her career.
It definitely helped her career. Her
music definitely separated her.
Crazy.
What about Rude Boy, S&M?
Yeah, S&M.
Yeah, who makes a song called Rude Boy after you get beat by a Rude Boy?
S&M was actually banned from a whole bunch of countries.
Yeah, like, I was banned from
She
Lips and Chains excite me?
Yeah. You know, if that's your thing.
You know, like, was consensual, maybe? I don't know. Maybe Chris Brown got a raw deal, you know?
I mean, regardless, like, with the whole thing he did at Good Morning America, yeah, he doesn't want to be questioned about beating up Rihanna, but his actions weren't the way he handled it. You can handle it. I mean, we know this. You have to handle it in a professional
But
manner.
I feel like he gets so bothered because, like, imagine every interview you go, they keep questioning him about Rihanna.
Rihanna.
But when you do something like that with such a public figure, you gotta accept it.
Yeah, you have to own up to what you do, I guess. And I mean, hitting women is never acceptable, at least in our society. You know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, his music's still pretty good. So.
His hair is definitely not. No. He's like a light Cisco. It's really weird. All right, guys, we're gonna have to go to a commercial break, but stay tuned because the debate of the day is on the way.
This is what happens. Our show is so wildly popular. We need to make it up. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Something that was going on here. Guys, oh my God. I was for a commission yesterday, and I realized exactly what the thing is. What? Truthfully. Oh my God, that's incredible. What's going on? Chit-chat. Move to the garden. Chit-chat. Run! It's Chit-chat time! Let's get out of here!
And now, the debate of the day.
Welcome back, everyone. And now we're going to move on to our debate of the day topic. Huge thing going on right now, Fountain Day. Everyone's been buzzing about it on campus. So what do you guys think? You think it was the right decision? You think it's fair the entire student body cancel Fountain Day? Elyssa?
George Phillip, you are wrong, completely wrong for canceling Fountain Day. There's 12,000 or more students that go to the university at Albany. 50 to 100 students were at Kegs and Eggs, and it was an off-campus event. This was completely off-campus. Why are we being punished for something that a few drunk kids did?
I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm upset that Fountain Day was canceled. It's my last Fountain Day. I want to go out with a bang. But I do understand where President Phillip, why he made his decision. You know, he has to uphold the university's reputation. Kegs and Eggs was absolutely out of control. Like, I was there. I witnessed it. Damaging property, that's ridiculous. Like, if someone did that to my property, I might hurt them.
So what's the point of canceling Fountain Day? That's what I don't understand.
Well,
is it going to prevent people from drinking? Is it going to prevent people from destroying property? Because there's cops in Fountain Day. We can control what happens.
Well, my question, have you ever been to a Fountain Day?
No, I have not. I've seen videos, but it doesn't matter if I've been there or not. The fact is that you're destroying the morality of the kids. I came to the school to go to Fountain Day. The fountain is on my ID card.
I completely understand what you're saying. But when it does come down to Fountain Day, people, like, I want to say last year, they had to escort out 7 to 10 kids in ambulance because they get so drunk and they can't handle themselves. Now, after everything that happened on Kegs and Eggs, it's really hard for the university it's really hard for them not to think that that's going to happen. Again,
so they should punish us, basically.
No, I'm not saying they should punish us. Again, I'm mad too, but when it boils down to it, you have to take responsibility for your actions, regardless if you didn't do it. We are a community. Therefore, we're all going to have to pay for a few people's mistakes. And yeah, it might not be fair, but that's how it is. That's how the world works.
You know, I feel like...
Do you think that the president should sacrifice or risk sacrificing the integrity of our school for maybe one day of drinking? Do you think that Fountain Day is that important? Or,
that's what I'm saying.
Where are the priorities? What do you think the priorities should be?
That's what I'm saying. The priority, George Phillip, you went to this school. Your sons went to this school. You met your wife at this school. And so, like, you attended Fountain Day. So why are you preventing us from doing something that you did? We all love Fountain Day. Like, it should not be canceled over one stupid event. This happens. This is going to happen. Are you going to continue every year to shut down Fountain Day?
Well, that's besides the point because you guys aren't even having it next year. But, personally, I think that President Phillip, he has a lot of pressure on him right now. He's got employers coming at him. He's got parents, alumni, the community residents, and the media. Of course, the media, we know we're going to blow everything up. So he has a lot of pressures. He has to handle it in the best way that he knows how to.
But the media only concentrates on negative things about, you know, SUNY Albany.
Right.
And what just happened the other day? Didn't we have Relay for Life? Didn't we earn $450,000?
But that's the problem. Like you said, the media only focuses on negativity. Yes. And that's what they do. Like, they're focusing on the negative aspects. So everyone, this is national news.
Well, I mean, are they going to refund us for the money that we paid in our tuition for student activities? Are they refunding me $500?
Well, the student activity fee also goes to clubs and organizations on campus. I'm part of clubs.
The majority of students aren't, though.
Maybe they can help us with our student loans, you know?
I completely understand what you're saying, but when it boils down to it, the integrity of our university is at risk. I am graduating in May. I do not want something like Kegs and Eggs to mess up my job opportunities. And when UAlbany is getting threatened that these employers aren't even going to look at applicants from SUNY Albany, that's the value of my degree. My degree is at risk, and I'm not okay with that.
Students...
You guys have to make your final points. I'm sorry. I know this is a really tough thing. I know we'll be talking about it when we leave the room, too. Okay. But you have anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Well, my final point is that, George Phillips, students support you no matter what, because you are, you know, you're the lead, you're the head. But we would like to be supported as well. I mean, it's not fair that you're punishing 12,000 and more students over something drunk idiots did on Hudson Avenue.
My final point is, again, I'm very upset and saddened by this decision, but I get it. I understand why it happened, and you know, he had to make this decision for a reason. And if it's our degrees and our university at risk over, you know, some event that we can just get drunk at, I'd rather have the value of my degree.
All right, good debate, guys. That's it for tonight. This has been brought to you by ATV 360. I'm Scott Hosey.
I'm Elyssa Aquino.
I'm Kristina Hall.
Good night.